leis go méasal sa bhaid snàmh roinnig lára Pilkington in spòrs haingu iadhan as áirste. Bó nuair sin han snàmhadair para-limpigeach iad imime chlára go bhriseach san námar snàmh.
My journey with swimming, when I was on holiday with my family, I used to love going into the pool, and they had this thing on holiday when if you were under 18 you could go to this thing called splashdown twice a day, and I used to go twice a day every day because I was like, I can get in the pool by myself, like I can go with my friends, so I used to love that. I'm sure the staff loved me because I was the only one there sometimes, but yeah, I just loved being in there. And then one year I came back and I was like, I want to get in the pool a lot more, and I'd done pool swimming in PE, so I was like, okay, how can I get involved a bit more without having to get my family to come with me? So I was like, I googled disability swimming clubs and found a local one and then sent them an email, and it kind of just started from there. I don't know an exact point I wanted to be competitive. When I got into it, it was just for fun. I think I was a bit shocked when I went to the first training session that it wasn't the splashdown that I was used to. But no, it was great. And I went to my first competition. So after a few weeks of being there, they were like, oh, do you want to try and compete? And I was like, I don't really know, but I'll give it a shot. And I loved it. I was very nervous, but it was great. And it was great to see other people with disabilities as well, because at that point I hadn't met many people with disabilities. So being in an environment with lots of swimmers with a disability, it was great and kind of helped me come a lot more confidence in myself. I don't think Scottish records and the British record in breaststroke would be something that I would think as a younger child. I was always very ambitious. I think I still am very ambitious, but I didn't have my sights set on that. I think I was just always focused on wanting to get better, wanting to get technically better, wanting to improve my race skills, and just enjoying the sport, because I think you've got to enjoy the day in, day out process to make the whole thing worthwhile. And I think just all of that together kind of helped me get faster, and then that proceeded to be the Scottish records. But I'm really happy with what I've achieved, and I think sometimes I forget to be proud of that because I'm always looking forward.
Dolora ha snàmh sin na spórsin in gabhalacha bear agus ha gannecha gnópad a ha gí sons go be choram na share a go hula dinge.
Like inclusion in sport, I think there's a lot to be done, but I think the things that need to be done are the education around inclusion, but not just the education, but the actions to take forward. So I think there's a lot of talk about what are the barriers, what are the facilitators to disability sport, but it's like, what can we actually do to overcome them? Are the coaches, are the staff, are the guys up high in sport actually making a difference day in, day out? What are their aims and what are their objectives? And I think that's really important. And I think it's just simple things like asking people with a disability, how can I help? Because it's not the most complicated thing. I think sometimes people are scared to say the wrong thing, but it's better to say the wrong thing than just do nothing and not help. A big thing with inclusion is sometimes it feels like the people with a disability are the ones that have to drive it all. But there's only so many of us, and it's the people without a disability that should be driving the change, being the allies and being the ones that need to make a difference. So I think that's something that needs to improve, and everyone needs to drive for inclusion.
Alora a gopad le cirim alpa, agus a gopad sur holach cúteach le spòrs alpa. Par a suringi lú léisi chin eile a chuteachug, and a be a gíisiach in scialach gaiche.
So I first started with Scottish Ability Sport. They did some of the swimming competitions that I grew up doing, and they were some of my first competitions. I then got involved in the Young Start programme, which was sort of a coach apprenticeship thing. I got involved in that at a time when I dropped out of my university course. I'd taken a gap year, and at that time I kind of didn't have a purpose. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but Scottish Ability Sport kind of helped me have a little bit of direction. They helped me do different leadership opportunities. Through that I got my Scottish Swimming teaching qualification. And it was just kind of something that helped me feel like I had a purpose when I was just so confused at what I was doing, and I was quite struggling at the time. So I'm really thankful for the opportunities they did give me. And then through that, I've had lots of opportunities. I'm now paid as a disability inclusion tutor with Scottish Ability Sport. So they've just brought me from being a young start, not having any qualifications, to now working for them as an inclusion tutor. And that's something I love doing. My volunteering started with the Young Start programme with Scottish Ability Sport. It was through that when I got such a passion to help others and to sort of shout about disability inclusion and be like, okay, maybe throughout my swimming career I've had these roadblocks, but what can I do to help others? And can I make one person get involved in disability sport? Because I was involved with disability sport quite late on, and I wish someone had come to me and said sooner when I was under 10 years old, being like, you can get involved in sport, but I didn't. So I was like, okay, I want to be that person that can speak to younger people and try and drive that change. So Sport Scotland had an opportunity in 2019 to apply for the Young Person Sport panel, and I wanted to sort of broaden my horizons, get involved within volunteering within not just disability sport but within sport in Scotland. So I applied for that in 2019 and was successful in getting on the Young Person Sport panel, and that was just an amazing experience. 2 years, I just finished up there last year, but I've met amazing people, amazing connections, and I've actually got to like influence some change within sport in Scotland. So yeah, it's been an amazing experience, and I think through that I kind of just kept going with volunteering and loved it.
Tronopedd eich gilis y fwy'n young start, halora eith clas o horsgu, par fyle comasach do lw chleisi hyn lecturum, bring me launch inching, agus it cymmer y gydwch spòrs jefer y yenw gair.
So with the Young Start group, we worked in partnership with SNAMH to form Disability Identity in Sport, which is looking at the impact of mental health, having a disability, and that sort of self-acceptance role, and how disability sport can have such an impact on that. All of the group kind of had experiences with mental health and how sport has made a difference for them. And I think for me, I've been on a roller coaster with self-acceptance, and I think I still will be depending on the situation I'm in. So we're really keen to talk to other people with a disability and have that open conversation and help them with their self-acceptance and identity. But we've also branched out to talk to coaches and volunteers and look at the impact they can have on people with a disability, more so in inclusion and how including people with a disability can make them feel better and have the opportunity to get involved in sport, but also that if they're not included, how they can feel and how that can impact their mental health, because it can make them feel unwanted and excluded, and you don't want that, and there's a big role that coaches and volunteers have to play in that. So we've done a lot of education in that, so we're still branching it out just now.
Hasnaf eith jefer fôr y yenw an y bheil ora, agus hai y gamas eith na gemich yn ocholaias, agus na gemich yn para-limpigeach snàmhadair. Eith falaf an amr snaf gata, ha lora son lenting ora leis y hopydd, y fies i y gianw gysgynnu y chwtchach tros spòrs.
I don't think I would be the person I was today without sport. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But yeah, I've had so many good experiences, met so many people. I think like most of my friends are from sport. Like I've got great teammates here that I'm swimming with now at the Edinburgh Uni, and I love it. I love the opportunities, I love the experiences. I've also met so many people with a disability because of sport, and that's made me feel less alone as well. And I've also had opportunities with Sport Scotland, Scottish Disability Sport, so I think my whole life is kind of revolved around me starting to swim, and I think if I'd never taken that first step to email that Disability Swimming Club, like I don't know where I would be right now. But there's so many benefits to sport, not just going out, competing and doing well. It's the day in, day out, having fun with your friends and enjoying the process, I think is so great about sport. I'd say like my plans and ambitions for the future, I'll start with swimming. I think for swimming I'd love to compete internationally, sort of Commonwealth Games, Paralympic Games is something that I'm aiming towards, but just the day in, day out, I'm just trying to get better, get my processes better, try and be better as an athlete, and hopefully that can lead up to that. And I don't know what I'm going to do in my future after uni. I'm hoping to work in disability sport. I've applied for a couple of things within tutoring as well, so I really love disability inclusion tutoring, and I kind of want to expand tutoring to different options. I also do volunteering with Sport Scotland as a Fit for Girls tutor, so I love working with people, just talking about sport, sort of helping that education grow. So I'm hoping that I can get more jobs like that. But yeah, I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself at the moment and just see what happens. Reflecting on my sports journey, there's been a lot of up and downs. Like my disability is brittle bones disease, so it means I've got short stature, but my bones also break easily. I've got scoliosis of the spine, like my joints are quite loose. So it's looking at, I've been out the pool so many times because of injuries, and I've also struggled with mental health, so like my journey's been a roller coaster. I've had great times and I've had really, really tough times. So I think I reflect back and I think, wow, I've gone through a lot, but it's good to still be swimming and still enjoying it, and I think that's the main thing for me.